very much, and thank you for all of you to come to this meeting. Remember our meeting, we express our solidarity to all oppressed nations. Turkey, Azeri, and Ahwazi, because we know that they suffer a lot the same as us. The Kurds, the Turkmen, Lord, Sindhis, Pashtun, all the other different nationalities, if I miss them, we express our solidarity. Remember Baloch, they suffered a lot, but you have to remember, Baloch fought for their rights for centuries. In 1666, Baloch had they established their own state. So we had our own state, independent state, until 1839, when the British invaded Balochistan first, 38 invaded Afghanistan, and then they invaded Balochistan. And after that, they divided Balochistan, but the fight for Baloch fighting against the British never stopped. So we have to remember Baloch been fighting from that time up to now for their rights. They never stop. They never ever stop. So it's a very, very good sign that, okay, they're going to get their rights sooner or later. Now, Baloch suffered a lot. Historically, if you look at in last 60, 70 years, in their history, it never been, because it was like kind of like genocide, I don't know, in last centuries, people would remember it. They said, look, we had really horrible time by X, Y, and Z. But they never had the problem they had in last 60, 70 years, the creation of this monster Pakistan, and then, okay, then the rise of Iran, or modern Iran in the 1920s, they never had that sort of like genocide or oppression or bloodshed in their history. So we are really, really, in a very, very, very bad state. But for us to understand, really to understand what's the problem, I'm just going to give you a very brief, I know that you are very tired, very brief background creation of Pakistan. Pakistan, the term is meaningless. There is no such a thing as Pakistan. I tell you, even the term, if you are a rational, humane, I don't know, a Democrat, when they say you're Pakistani, you should be ashamed of yourself. It's that bad. I tell you what's really the meaning of that. Now, I start with two guys, two individuals. One, Churchill, Winston Churchill, and one Muhammad Jinnah. You see, Winston Churchill was, he's a very famous, there was the leader of the British Empire, and he believed that, I'm reading from the quotation that he says, Indians are not fit to rule, they are fit to be ruled. The quotation is taken from, Churchill. So, as an empire, any empire, usually, of course, that mindset. And then he said about like the movement in case India gets its independence, because you know that British Empire became an empire because of India. Okay? So you have like 5,000 years of history, you've got huge culture, you've got literature and all that. Even British, they didn't have it until quite recently, even the literature, like language. So he said that if power goes to the Indian, he said power will go to hands of rascals, rogues, freefooters, all leaders will be of low caliber and men of straw. That we really believe that all the leaders of the Indian leaders, they're useless basically, including Muhammad Jinnah. So Muhammad Jinnah was one of the leaders of them. So let's go to Muhammad Jinnah. Muhammad Jinnah, nowadays, the leader of, the founder of the Pakistan. He was a Hindu. His parents or grandparents, they were Hindu from Gujarat, and he was Jinnah Bhai Ponji, his father's name. Then, because they converted to Islam, his father or his grandfather converted to Islam. They were merchants, so converted to Islam. As they converted to Islam, then Muhammad ibn Jinnah himself converted to a Shia, kind of the Shia Islam. Okay, and even with that one, he wasn't sure which sort of like Shia Islam he's going to convert this. He wasn't interested in it, let's put it that way. Then, when he died, privately, they had ceremony as a Shia. Publicly, they had a ceremony as a Sunni. So that's basically okay. So the sad state of this guy shows that. And also, he was a member of the Congress Party. He started as a member of Congress Party. Then he realized that there is better money. Then he became part of the Muslim League, and after that he was the head of Muslim League. Now, when he came to this country, he studied law, and after he studied law, he basically imitated the English aristocrat. So he behaved like English aristocrat. So at home, after that, he forgotten all the Gujarati, all the other language that he's supposed to speak, and he started speaking English at home as well. So very, very tricky guy.
But the real trick was played by the British, not by him.
Well, we're the same.
He was the lawyer of Balochistan from 1933 to 1947.
Yes.
Yeah.
Now let's see. Then I'll take you that a little bit back to see that how this Pakistan was created. What's the meaning of Pakistan really? You see, British Raj, they ruled from 1757 to 1947. They went to, they ruled India. But when they started, it was 1600 as a merchant. So they had the British Indian Company, went to southern part of India. They started the trade, and from that, this British East Indian Company, they had their own private military, and after that they managed to get rid of basically the rulers of India. And by the time of 1857, so the British managed to control the whole India. Now, one thing that's British from the start, they decided what to do, because remember, you've got England, very, very tiny country, and you've got nearly 400 million people you got to control. Imagine that, so just 400 million is like a continent. So what they did, of course, they used the policy of rule and divide. And the first thing they did, they started with, from Bengal. So in Bengal, in 1905, they divided Bengal into two Hindu and Muslim sections from the start. Because remember, in Bengal, they started protesting against the British Empire. My colleagues, knows better than I do. I'm not a historian, I'm an economist, but I'll just give you some ideas of what really happened. Now, it goes back to the time that, remember, the some of the Indian, they became Muslim. When the Ghaznavid, the Turkish, the Mongolian, they occupied India, Shah Tughlaq, if there is any colleague from Turkish, they know that better than Shah Tughlaq, when he was in charge, let's say what he said. This is quotation from this king for those people they convert to Islam. So Shah Tughlaq, he decreed that if you convert to Islam, then you don't need to pay tax. This is a decree, he said. He said Muslim should be exempt from jizya. So tax. So my friend is here anyway. So that below that. So he said from tax, and so he said those people that he said, and he declared that I encourage his quotation. my infidel subjects to embrace religion of the Prophet, and I proclaim that everyone who repeated the creed and became a Muslim should be exempt from tax, jizya, okay? So it's not surprising that West Punjab, a lot of them they converted to Islam, and of course those like in part of the Bengal, East Bengal, they converted to Islam, and other Muslims. There is nothing wrong. People they change their religion. All the religions are the same. They should be respect that. Okay, there is no, but it's just a fourth reason that those people that converted to Islam. So this was one reason they converted to Islam from Hinduism, and another one, of course, it was the caste system, the discrimination of caste system. So a lot of Indian, okay, were discriminated because of caste system, and it was a good way to convert to Islam. So this Islam that as if when you see a Punjabi Muslim or Indian from the subcontinent Muslim, as if Islam is their own creation. I remember I met one of my Afghan friends. He said, we converted to Islam. No, they're bringing Islam to us. Okay. So then that was really the card the British used to divide, to rule and divide. So it was very important for the British to realize that Islam religion, Islam and Hinduism and other religion, it can be a very, very important card to play with and use it in order to rule, basically. So what they did, in 1885, the secular Democrat Indians, from all the religions, by the way, okay, Muslim, Hindus, okay, Zoroastrian, and all sorts of other, okay, they created a Congress Party in 1885. It wasn't long after that that the British organized the Muslim. So in opposition to the Congress, a group of Indian Muslims headed by Sayyid Ahmad Khan, okay, with active support of the British, they founded All Indian Mohammedan Educational Conference in 1886. So exactly 1 year after that. Then, what you have, okay, J. Eliot, who was the Viceroy of India at that time, and he expressed that, he said it was a very, very important point to do in order for us to survive here. Let's say what his wife, okay, this Viceroy's wife said in her diary. So his wife said, I'm reading from quotation, he said, 62 million people, Indian Muslim, okay, he said you basically, because of this organization, this Muslim organization, you stop 62 million people, okay, Indian Muslim, from joining the ranks of seditious oppositions. Because they knew that, okay, so that means there is really, struggle for independence. So if there is a struggle for independence, of course you're going to join to those people, they think of their rights. Okay, so it was from that one, then they created Muslim League. Okay, Muslim League was created in December 1906. Muslim League is a political party which led to the creation of Pakistan. Muhammad Ali Jinnah was the leader from 1913 or 16 was the leader of Muslim League.
No. Yeah. 1939 onward, 1940 onward.
No, he became the head of
Muslim League in 1940, 41.
No, he became the leader after he left the, it was either 1916 or something like that.
No.
So don't worry, okay,
Nothing to do with Baloch, you know. This is nothing to do with Baloch.
No, I come back to the history. Yes, you come back.
Nothing to do with history.
It's very much to do
nothing to do with history of Baloch.
Yeah, you're very
Muslim
much.
and this Hindu history, yes, but nothing to do with Baloch.
Creation of Pakistan is talking.
I'm talking about creation of Pakistan. Because we don't know our background, that's why we are in trouble. Anyhow, so
the
it's
Pakistan
created.
was formed by the Unionists who were left by the British, not the Muslim League.
Answer, there will be a question and answer session.
Yes.
And if you want to clarify something, you can please let him speak now.
Okay, let me, okay, I finished, and okay, we got different opinion, okay, sometimes, okay, it's quite natural, okay, so when they created Muslim League in 1906, and again, it was British, okay, behind that, so the first article of the Muslim League says, is the first article, by the way, it says to promote among Muslim or Muslims of India feelings of loyalty to the British government. That is the first article of, okay, Muslim. Okay, so then I come back to, so you've got that movement. So the one is the Congress Party, because of all the secular Democrat people, they fighting for their rights. And then you got Muslim League is really working for the British. Then we get to 1930s, after the First World War. In 1933, a Punjabi Muslim studying literature in Cambridge by the name of Chaudhry Rahmat Ali. So he wrote a very small pamphlet. I think you can, if you Google it, you can get it. He wrote that pamphlet is called No or Never, Are We to Live or Perish Forever? So what he did in this article, he says what we have in India is basically, I mean, it's not really even well written here, but of course he studied literature, but if you read it, then you realize that, okay, mix up. Is the rise of fascism, remember, in 1930s is the rise of fascism in Europe. If you are studying in a university, you are very familiar with okay, fascist movement. That means there are going to be some people that are going to be less, okay, some people are going to be superior, such, okay? So he coined the term Pakistan, okay? He coined in that pamphlet, they coined the term Pakistan. Actually, he talked to even, he suggested to Muhammad Ali Jinnah. Muhammad Ali Jinnah, okay, of course, he was very close to the British. He said, no, it's just, we don't want, we want certain rights for the Muslim. Now, when he coined this Pakistan is the term that is in Iranian languages. So it's in Kurdi, it's in Farsi, in Balochi, in Dari, in all these languages. This is the term that comes from there. Now, if you say, look, I'm really independent thinker, I'm not interested, okay, I'm not going to, okay, be biased. If you take Hindustan, because they used to call it Hindustan, India, of course, English term. And if you take Hindustan and compare it to Pakistan, what does it indicate? It indicates Hindustan is the land of Hindus, Pakistan is the land of Pak. In my language, Balochi in Farsi means clean. It's not what the Pakistani or the Punjabi says, pure. It's clean. Pak means clean, means Pakistan is the land of clean. That means Muslims are clean, okay? Another language that, okay, a lot of the Muslim, I heard it, okay, in Pakistan, I've been in Pakistan, the Hindus are najas. Najas means dirty. So it's the land of clean is for Muslim, okay? We create a land of clean for Muslim and we separate them with Hindu. So this term, as I told you, even any human being with right mind thinks that this term is inhumane. So they use that term. After that, of course, then we have the Second World War, and all the problems that then started during the Second World War. Muhammad Ali Jinnah, I read a lot about Muhammad Ali Jinnah. Believe me, we have written quite a lot of stuff, if you read it in the articles, okay? So Muhammad Ali Jinnah didn't believe in creation of Pakistan. So what happened, you see John Pope, okay, the Viceroy of India, he was in 1936 to 43. He approached Mamadi Wijna in 1939. And he approached, it was the time that even British, they felt that, okay, India is going to get its independence. So it was a time that, okay, sooner or later, India is going to be independent. So he approached Mamadi Wijna and tried to sabotage the Indian Congress demand for independence. Then in mid-1940s, okay, in mid-1940s, it was very clear that India is going to get its independence. So a lot of activities started during this period. Okay? And when I mentioned the case of Churchill becomes part of the Prime Minister of Britain. His role is very, very important in terms of really deciding what's going to happen. And also the commanders, British commanders in India. So what we have here, we have one very important character by the name of Field Marshal Wavell. Yes?
Yeah.
Okay. Field Marshal Wavell. So, yes, Field Marshal Wavell, he was the British Commander-in-Chief for Middle East in 1939. So if you read his notes, what he says that Middle East, because it was in Middle East, okay, after the division of, remember, they divided all the Middle East and all French, Arabs, Kurds, and all of that, okay? So for him, he was saying, there is a lot of quotation from him. He said the most important part after the Second World War is going to be Middle East. So we need to have a base. So this guy is saying that we have to have a base. Yes, he's saying we have to have a base. And this is the same guy, this guy, from 1943 to 1947, he becomes the Viceroy of India. Okay, and he has very close link with Mamadi Wijna. So he's got a lot of contact, they see each other and so forth. So from that time, it's decided exactly they have to have a base in India. Then what happened? By March 1945, even Churchill accepted that, because Churchill they never thought that India is going to be independent. So by March 1945, he accepted. He said, look, there is no way that okay we can have India. So let's see what he said to this guy, to Field Marshal Wavell. He said that he decreed. He said in relation to it, he said India must be divided. He said partition of India. Okay, you must make sure that okay you divide India into Pakistan, Hindustan, and Princestan. So this is a quotation from Winston Churchill. This is a quotation that what he said. So in August 1945, he ordered this Field Marshal Wavell. Again, his quotation from Churchill. He said, "Keep a bit of India." Keep a bit of India. So it was very clear that they're going to have part of India. And so it was that idea that they're going to have part of India, they decided by March 1945. Okay? Even the Field Marshal, who was the head of British military, he also said that we need, again the quotation he said, we need a base. He said we need a base in that region that is Pakistan, or airfields and ports in northwest India. Okay? Now, it was all of this, then they decided. When they decided this, it was, sooner or later it's going to happen. So what they did, they sent one lawyer, Okay, and this lawyer, he was a Welsh lawyer, but name of Cyril Ratcliffe. This guy never been to India, so he didn't know much about like India at all. So they sent him to divide two provinces rather. Here was to divide two provinces, and in order to create Pakistan, okay? So he was given 6 weeks to create that one. So by the time of partition, two provinces, they were in dispute, that's why he did. One was Punjab, one was Bengal. So Punjab at that, okay, East Bengal, which they created, okay, created Bangladesh, was 44 million at that time, and West Punjab was maybe almost like 20 million. So Bengal, East Bengal was twice in terms of the population, more than twice as, okay, West Punjab. So when they created, okay, they created this commission comprised of, I'm reading the name of those people that were in commission. So the boundary commissions, headed by Cyril Ratcliffe, there were two groups, okay? Now, so I'm just reading that one, just you see that the point, okay? He said the boundary commissions comprised of Punjab, the Indian side, and the Pakistani side. Okay, so from the both of them, Justice Mir Chand Mehjan and Sejan Singh represented the Punjab Indian side. From the western side, Pakistani side, they were represented by Din Muhammad and Muhammad Munir. And from the Bengali sides, okay, the Bengali side, the Indian side, Bengali side, were Justice C.C. Biswas and B.K. Mokhriji or something like that, okay? Mokhriji, yeah?
Okay.
Mokhriji, okay? And for Eastern Pakistan side were Abu Saleh Muhammad Akram and S.A. Rahman. So these were the people they decided to divide, to partition, okay? And they didn't agree, by the way. So they had the meeting, they couldn't agree. Then, eventually, Cecil Ratcliffe drew the line. So he divided East and West Bengal and East and West Punjab, and this is how they created this monster, okay? So it's nothing really to do, there is no difference between Punjabi, East Punjabi and West Punjabi, West Bengali or West Bengali. So they're the same people. So it was because the British wanted to have a base. Now, this comes to the case of Balochistan. In 1944, okay, in 1944, General R.A. Mani, he looked at the case of Balochistan, the constitutional case of Balochistan, okay, in terms of Balochistan, whether what sort of right is got. So he concluded that, okay, 1944, that Balochistan is an independent state. It's nothing to do with India, it's nothing to do. So constitutionally, Balochistan was independent. Okay? But even by that time, of course, all the people, they believe that, okay, India is going to be independent until, okay, and for the rulers of Balochistan as well. They knew that, okay, they need to get their rights. So what they have the standstill agreement, which signed on the 4th of August 1947. So this standstill agreement was signed by British, okay, by Baloch leaders, and by the Pakistanis, okay, by Jinnah, that they signed that Balochistan is an independent state, and it was because of that, on 11th of August, okay, Balochistan declared its independence, and we have the news next day. So Pakistan is really not entity, okay, it's meaningless, and those people, they call themselves Pakistani. You have to remember, those people, it's a racist term, it's a xenophobic term. So that means the brothers and sisters, Hindus and others, that najas, and these idiots, they just become like, okay, they keep the establishment. Of course, ordinary people, they didn't have any say in, okay, what they wanted or what they didn't want it. So Pakistan is meaningless, and it's because of that, including like all, okay, friend that, okay, left, if you don't get that history, okay, you never get your, okay, your rights, your democratic rights. You never get it, okay? And it wasn't just, okay, you just look at one side that, okay, what happened? Of course, Balochistan had a lot of problems in terms of, okay, they getting their rights. As long as Balochistan, remember when Balochistan became independent, the foreign minister was either Welsh or Scottish. Another minister was a Punjabi. So even that means those people that were in charge, they didn't have that, okay, vision that, okay, we need to move with time. Unless we move with time, you are not going to get your rights. Unless you move with, okay, what's going on, okay, in modern time, unless you work for your democratic rights or the rights of all individuals, you are not going to get your rights. But it doesn't mean that, okay, of course, Baloch, they're fighting for their rights, and of course, Baloch, they moved very, very long way. In Balochistan, it's a national movement, and in Balochistan, there have been people that are fighting, and they had the right way. That's why we are here. For that reason that, okay, they were fighting for the rights of all the people that they live in Balochistan, and for the rights of other nations. That means we have equal rights. We are not against Punjabi, or we are not against of any other nationality, or we are against the establishment that created this monster that is causing a lot of harm to the whole region. So it's not surprising that when you say Pakistan, you say what's the principle of Pakistan? What they say something in Urdu. They say this. What's the aim of Pakistan? Yeah, what would they say? How they say it in Urdu?
Yeah, that's what it is.
Arabic.
Pakistan means there is no God but one God, Allah.
Yes.
That's what they say.
And all the other nonsense that, you know, it was a dream or prophet that, okay, Islam, you will come to Pakistan to this, no. This whole monster is not surprising that millions and millions of people died. Imagine the first, okay? So I'm going to, just 1 minute, okay? So when the partition, 1.5 million people died. 15 million were displaced. After that, soon after that, okay, is attack to India, the question of Kashmir, and so many people that they occupied Balochistan, since what we have, total disasters. Whoever knows ABC of economics, they know that Balochistan could have been one of the richest nation, most secular nation in the region, and look at the state of Balochistan. All the cause of the problem in Afghanistan. Okay, all the jihadis, the groups that you get, drug mafia. So you just name it, millions and millions of people that died, what they did in Bangladesh. Remember I said that there were 44 million, they were East Bengali, and there were 20 million. So that means that in terms of if there was a government, it should have been the Bengalis government, not the Punjabi's government. But these guys, they were servitude of British. From 1870s, they were the Punjabi, okay, mainly from the Muslim or other part, they were in the main, okay, military camps.